Hello friends, welcome back. My face is wildly overexposed and the white balance is all off. My palette cam is struggling as well. Welcome. We're on to the last model. Everything else is complete. We're doing a resin pour again right now for the bottom half. But I'm going to need to do a second layer over the top when that one dries. So I reckon we'll be finished by this coming weekend. We've run pretty quick since we got started here in the new house. The new house has had a big impact just on my ability to paint. Desire, I guess, as well. This guy's fun. Fun little horsey. This is all on the back side of the diorama, so it's unlikely people will be looking at it from this angle, but I figured I'd just do a few base colours to make sure it's good enough, you know? Good enough to pass muster. I always feel like I never have anything to talk about on a Monday night now. I've always talked about everything yesterday. But we'll strive on, we'll struggle forwards. Hello Sean, it's going well mate. Yes, we've painted some horse. Look at my horse is amazing, give it a lick, woo! Yeah. Yeah, I've really enjoyed painting these last few models. The skeletons were always going to be awesome to paint, but I feel like I've really landed on like a rusty non-metallic metal that works. Just through this process, I haven't quite ever really nailed it, I don't think. And I feel like I've hit that brief in the paintings that I've done on the skeletons and everyone else. So there's some rusted elements across the whole piece, which I think works. One of the challenges I find with a project of this scale is just the actual technical capability that you start with at the very beginning of the project and the end. They're often different. And so when I have a project like this that is taking me 12 months, which is normally a lot longer than it takes me, but 12 months, it's 12 months of painting that I've done where I've learned new things and tried new things and picked up different skills. So the models that I painted at the start of the project are worse than the models that I'm painting now. Probably in fairly small, not discernible things, but I can certainly notice it. So what I tried to do on this one is leave the models that are quite forward for the start, for the end. So I painted Asteria last night, and I painted this guy yesterday and tonight. Because these are the ones that are going to be at the front. So these are the ones people are going to see. So it was a conscious choice, but there is a noticeable improvement in certain elements. This guy from the other dudes that I've done. Yep. I mean, it's frustrating, but at the same time, it's very satisfying because you're like, oh, well, there you go. I am actually getting better. Even if you can't see it at the time, you can always see it when you come back. One of the things I did a few years ago, which I was really happy with, was I painted a Nurgle army for AOS. Got into AOS for a little while there, and I played some Iron Jaws, and I played some Nurgle. But yeah, the thing that struck me as I was painting that Nurgle army was just how much I enjoyed painting decayed, rusted stuff. And I was trying to decide how much my enjoyment of undead and all things evil comes from the fact that I just like painting stuff like that. I reckon it's a large portion for me. It's interesting how easy he makes some things look, isn't it? Just barely bats an eyelid. The great Mark Musclans. So we get to have a conversation that we have not had for a long time on this channel, which is, what is the next project that we're going to work on? Because we finally finished the diorama. Man, that feels good. We're in the home stretch now. It's just, my motivation over the last 2 weeks has just powered me through this. I've been very, very enthusiastic about this project and getting it done. Just having space and yeah, it's felt really good. So now we get to look at the pile of models and start to talk about what's next in the display painting. And you know what? We've got a beautiful little Spira coming, a little pig goblin guy. Maybe it's another Spira. Ooh-wee. Love Spiras. I was thinking I feel like doing something a little more elaborate. I was thinking Oz from Mindworks Games could be nice. Obviously the next thing I'm painting is a little Mindworks gladiator guy from their upcoming game. It's called Paradise. It's on GameFound now if you want to go and have a look. The campaign preview anyway. It's only a few weeks out now. And all the other places too. Think you'll find the universe pretty much covers everything. Shut up, woman, get on my horse. Look at my horse is amazing. Give it a lick. Woo! Tastes just like raisins. Board games night tomorrow night, Tuesday nights. Love it. Look forward to it. We've confirmed early. Usually we confirm on a Tuesday morning if who's in and what we're going to play. But the team was excited. Playing Clash of Cultures tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. It is a civilization building game where you take on the mantle of a ancient civilization and you explore territory, recruiting leaders and different variety of troops and buildings, and then you attack each other. If you ever played Age of Empires, it's kind of like that in a board game. And it's tremendously enjoyable. Tremendously. But one of the very first world problems we have in my gaming group on a Tuesday night is the 5-player problem. Because we have 5 players, there is a large chunk of games that we just can't play. They're 4-player only. So we have a 5-player game. We know that we're cutting down our options, because there's a lot of 4-player games that are 5-player compatible, but they're just not very good because 5 players there's a lot of downtime. So we try to play good 5-player games, but when we have a 4-player game night because someone's out, oof, it's exciting. Cool. That looks pretty fun. So we'll do some airbrushing and some final touches on him once we have completed this guy. Alright, I haven't even looked at this dude. Let's do the skin first. Alexa, airbrush on. Magenta. So Guild's in, coming up in a few months time, sorry, not weeks, months, it's August. Just ticked into June. June, July, August, 2 months. Looking forward to it. I feel like I'll have something to bring, which is this big project. And that feels good. But also frees me up to paint some other stuff. I'll obviously bring the dungeon friends. Who knows what else I'll bring. The world is my oyster. New project time is just it's such a good feeling. And maybe I should just appreciate old projects more as well. I should. Let's do a different skin tone. Let's use orange brown. But yeah, just you get excited about new projects and new possibilities, and you think to yourself, this will be the best thing I've ever done. And then it's not. But it's cool to think that it might be. G'day Mokamars, this is from Chimera Models, this miniature, and this is called Obitus, O-B-I-T-U-S, and it is from a Kickstarter that they did about a year and a half, 2 years ago, but you can buy it now in the shop, I'm pretty sure it's available to purchase. Obitus, and the horse is here as well if you want to see the horse. This is what the horse looks like, it's sick. Horse. You are welcome, and welcome to the stream. This is for a very, very big diorama that I'm working on. So you probably haven't seen that before, but if you go and have a look at my Instagram, you'll be able to see what we're looking at. Alexa, airbrush off. Hello, Match Fixer. Unfortunately, this wonderful brush from Artis Opus is coming to the end of its point. That's a good observation. Yes. No, this should be a fun paint job on this little guy. We should be at absolute peak rusted metal skill. Absolute peak. So And hello to you, Cragzog, as well. All right. Yep, we'll switch brush. Might need to try and revive it with a little bit of brush soap. Alright, so viewing angle is kind of like that. Okay. Second time I've done that. No, feeling very, very good about this one. I've been actually, I won't say blown away, but I've been really taken aback by how impactful the work that I've done on the base has made me feel about the project. I just went absolutely ham on the foliage across the piece and then added all these colours and shades and yeah, almost ruined it with a bad varnish, but we recovered it. And yeah, it now feels really, really cool. Looks really cool. And feeling really good about it. I feel like I say this on most of my dioramas now, but maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but I feel like each one gets better. I feel each one I've learnt more from and I'm able to execute that on the next one. I think visually this one's really got a lot more impact than the last couple. This guy's got a very human skin. Doesn't really tie in with the rest of the scene. So I'm going to have to greenify it, I think. Now greenify. Now testify. How do we do that, Deno? Let's go some duck egg green. Alexa, airbrush on. I don't know where the name of this colour comes from, but a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, Gavin Clark, raved about this colour. Absolutely loved it. He was a very good airbrusher, better than me. And he used to like this colour. He was like, just get a bit of duck egg green on there, that'll fix it. The only reason I've got it in my collection is because of him. But I do tend to agree with him. It does fix some interesting stuff. And a bit of Volupus pink, I reckon. We'll fix this up. Ooh. Oh, that's 2 resin pours that have leaked like crazy. Do I feel sad? Not really. I don't think I've ever really felt sad. No. It's an interesting question that I haven't really pondered before. But when you pour so much of yourself into it, and you get to that point where you've by the time you get to this point, you've just faced so many crises of faith, around, can I do this? Is this dumb? What am I thinking? Like you've gone through that cycle so many times, that you just reach that point at the end where you're like, no, that's it, I've had enough. I'm ready to just go back to feeling capable for a bit. Yeah, relief is definitely a far stronger feeling than sadness. But yeah, there's definitely been some feelings of sometimes I find it hard to let it go. Just like I just want to keep tweaking over and over and over. Oh, I could fix this and I could fix that. I could keep doing that. Alexa, airbrush off. But yeah, by this point I'm I'm happy. I'm happy to see the back of it. It's because the juice box is very small compared to the big Danielson. Little big man. You're a shot, motherfucker, and nobody likes you. Shot! Nah, that's not true. I like you, mate. I like you a lot. In fact, I like you more every time you come on this stream because you constantly say some funny shit. Oh, I gotta snip that bit off. Do it now before you forget, dipshit. Look how short that guy is, and it stops you from forming meaningful relationships. Yeah, the pay does suck, mate. One of these days, I'll get you something. Give you a model. What model do you want that isn't Baba Yaga? Yep. Yes, it would have. Baba Yaga would have been plenty for the next 10 years. But it wasn't to be. Wasn't to be. So let's talk through my rusty metal process. Now that I've landed on a process that I feel like I understand pretty well. Step one is have an irregular layer to work from. So I am just using washes of dark sea blue, black, and red oxide from Chimera to create a very irregular I don't think I'll feel that way. I'm a good judge of things mostly, life. And I think that is the most value you could get from a piece of resin that is as tiny as that piece of resin was. Just can't see it getting any higher in value than that. Alright, so now that we have an irregular surface, what we're going to do is just use the same colours I always use, but we're going to incorporate them in different ways. We're going to leverage some of the underneath texturing and shading. What is that fucking, is that a mould line? That is an awful mould line right there. That is a fucking shocker. Alright, we'll have to use some painting tricks to get around that mould line. It's another one of the things my friend Gav showed me, painting tricks to get around mould lines. If you paint a drop shadow underneath them, sometimes it looks like they're meant to be there, meant to be a part of the model. Fucking classic stuff. Generally work well on round surfaces, but we'll give it a try. Look, every time I've not bought a Spira recently, I've regretted it. I love the new Spira. I'm not sure I'm going to buy it. I may buy it. Is it this? It's not this weekend, is it? Or have I missed it? Or it's still 2 weeks away, isn't it? I'll tell you the thing that does my head in about Spira. I haven't received the last one yet. It's in the mail, but I still haven't received it. So, and I know I will. It's not a. Oh no. I'll never get my model. It's more of a, I get really excited about painting it when I first see it, and then you have to wait 3 months to get it. I probably was the last one to order, but I don't think he does it in that, he doesn't ship them in order, I don't think. Maybe he does. I don't know. Wish I could have mine for a month. Oh, there's a part of me that just wants to blast through this. It's like you're so close to the finish line, and there's a part of me that wants to savor it. So I'm just trying to run the gamut of those two emotions. You should definitely paint one of those, Sean. Definitely paint one. They are one of my favourite figures I've painted in the last few years, if not my favourite. Just do it. fact, I'm putting out the challenge to you now, Sean. I need to see a Lancelot for Guilds in from you, mate. I need it. The Lancelot or the Spears in general? Time stop. Hearing a lot of excuses. Sean. Should be hearing a lot of yes, Big Dano. Whatever you say. Champion. Do whatever you want, mate. They're very reasonably priced. Like for a figure that you buy in the shops, I use the term loosely, but most figures probably 50 to 100 euro is your ballpark. Spears generally fall inside that, but he basically just he only ever does pre-orders, so you don't get to be like, I like that, I'll buy that. You have to decide yes. But I have never been disappointed with a Spear when I got it in my hands. Never at all. That'll probably be the next model I paint, I reckon, after this. I'll do some board game stuff, but get back into my little dragons from Dragon Eclipse, and then see what else we got coming. Yeah, cast quality is absolutely first class, and they do a lot of really nice touches that just make you feel like you are buying a premium product. Like every time you open the Spear box, it's got a scent. Lucas's partner, Irene, scents the sandpapery, sawdusty stuff that they send them in. So sounds like a small thing, but every time I open a Spear, I'm just like, yeah, that is expensive. Yeah, I think I did 5 different skin tones. I certainly did a few. At least 4. Is the door open, Moss? Just go out and like pretend you're opening the door. Very, very good value. That one was an automatic buy for me, Dungeon Friends. Loved it. I'll think about that new one. I may end up getting it. I wonder if there is a part of me that's thinking, you know what, Dano? You had the greatest Lucas Peanut old lady sculpt in your hands and you gave it away. Anything that you buy now, it's just disrespectful. Hello, ladies. Look at your man. I skipped the Mercenary Elf. I feel okay about it. I skipped quite a few recently, and then he started getting back into the two things that absolutely draw my gaze, which is mercenary type angry creatures and then old ladies. They're both my jam. Just won't go. I just know what I like. Mossie's having some real difficulty right now. She's trying to take Ellie outside to the toilet for the last time of the night. Ellie is refusing to show any interest. It's because I'm not going. I'm the favourite. I'd fight an old lady if she tried to steal my food. So I'm going to get into a little bit of a controversial conversation right now. Very controversial indeed. But for the last few years, probably about 5 years, I've just been dabbling in the background with a board game, just some rules and stuff. I've done quite a bit of stuff for board game design, so I've usually got a couple of things going on. And the other night I had a really great idea for a theme, and I was like, oh, how cool would that be? And I thought I might just jump on AI and see what stuff I can make for my board game designs, not for the purposes of using in the game, but like for the purposes of making some playtest material, just to help me visualize things a bit better. And so I made some prompts and I said, AI, make me this. And it is horrifying. She go, Moss? All good? Oh. So here is something that you can't see because it's not bright enough. That is AI generated from a prompt that I said. As is this. As is this. As is this. There is some little things like that, the tyre being inside the ground, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But at the same time, that is horrifying to me. That I can just type into a computer, please make me a picture of this. And that's what comes out. Because that is something that I did in the space of about 5 minutes. That would take a professional artist to do in multiple hours. Not a professional artist, but as an artist, I know exactly how hard it is to turn something into a miniature that looks cool. And yet, this machine can do that in mere seconds. Now, yes, it is a controversial conversation, Mr. Mosbuka. And I genuinely see both sides of the argument very, very well. I think we have to accept that the future is constantly changing and evolving, and we need to adapt to that. But that is the risk. That is the risk, that the creative workforce is gone as a result of it. I don't have any answers. I don't have any controversial things to say other than it blows me away that can do that. Yeah, there's absolutely no denying that people will and have lost jobs from AI art. And there's no real regulation on it at the moment, is probably part of the issue. But I was watching the footy show last night, Matty Johns, Sunday Night with Matty Johns, and the AI made two dudes kiss each other, and it was one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time. I laughed my head off. So, it's not all bad, is it? without going too deep into things like the Matrix and Skynet, I think it's inevitable that the future includes an automated workforce, and if AI has the ability to automate creative roles, then at some point in the future there's just no need for humans to work in the way that we currently work. And that's maybe not a bad thing. We are talking about what is fundamentally a flawed system anyway, right? Which is capitalism. At some point, we are staring down the barrel of it's just not going to work anymore. So, if AI can do all of the labour, and governments can come up with a way for people to exist fairly and equitably, get amongst it. Yeah. And that's the piece that's hard to argue. It's intellectual property theft. But that's always been such a nebulous area. Again, I don't want to get too much into a political minefield because we're just here to paint toy soldiers, but there's definitely bad signs, there's definitely bad aspects, and there's good aspects from the end user. Does the ends justify the means? Yep, that is true. There's a great episode of one of my favourite shows, The Good Place, where they talk about the trolley problem. This philosophical concept of what's the right thing to do in a situation where there's no right answers. Or in Star Trek terminology, the Kobayashi Maru, no-win situations. I feel very much that AI and its requisite parts it's just that there's no win here for whichever way you look at it, because there's just too many practical great applications for it in making human beings' lives easier. So I'm not gonna produce a board game with AI art because I would like to support a local artist if and when I get around to doing that. But I can have a working prototype that I can use to play with my friends that will be immeasurably better than it would have been with zero outlay of cost to said artist. Just making my life significantly easier and better. At what cost, though? It's an interesting one. far smarter than me have been debating this for a little while now. Good point. There you go, Craigsog. Another perspective that I had not considered. Hello, Jared. It's going well. Been painting a horse. Diorama will be finished this week. Finito! I gave this guy my usual flat varnish. God, it makes a difference, man. Makes such a difference. Just sick. Boom, yaka. Actually, I can bring that bit over here because that bit's done. That bit's done. Maybe I glue him down. Oi, oi, oi. So I've cut a hole in the back. Well, I had a hole in the back of this quite a while ago, but I've got a piece of foam board to fill that. But I'm going to use this space here, the floor. I'm going to just print out some cobblestone, and then on the back of the foam board, I'm going to print like the inside of a temple, and then just smooth it out and like, yeah, make it look way better. Zoom out. How about we do this, Dano? We're on a road to nowhere, taking our time. Hey, there we go. We're finally getting to see. Yeah, that dog is not my strongest work, but that's okay. I'm gonna glue this guy down. He's a maniac, maniac on the floor. Now I just gotta remember where the fuck I put his thing. Where is it? Yeah. Is that right? would you get in your home? So sometimes, when you get to this point, you realise that some of the angles you thought were totally fine and didn't need painting are actually totally not fine and do need painting. And that is a fucking tough thing to deal with. But there you go. That's going to have to need some work, I reckon. The back of that cloac. Maybe we'll get away with it. What's happening, slangers? Nice. She looks good. She looks good. She just needs a tiny little tweak on her face. Don't mess up everything you've done, Demo. And the floaty chick. I do actually have to do some more work on the floaty chick, don't I? Just a little bit. Ooh, just a little bit. Ooh, a little bit more. Ooh, just a little bit. You can float on more. Ooh, just a little bit. Ooh, a little bit more. Floaty chick, do 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 do. Floaty chick, do 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 do. No, the dog's bad. I need to do some airbrush smoothing on the dog. Shit. He's just bad, man. Look at him. So you can only really barely see it, but I spray varnished this this new varnish, acrylic matte varnish from Vallejo. I thought it'll be fine. It's not going to have any bad reactions. It had reactions all over with all sorts of stuff, and it very nearly ruined my enthusiasm. No, it's a spray can. Yeah. It had a really nice finish, actually. It had a really nice finish on the areas where it didn't have a reaction. But it had a reaction, so hard to recommend. That, my friends, is very close to completed. Girls. See if we can bend this a little bit. That should have fixed it. Oh, you're a wizard. I thought it might have been that, but I don't think it is, because it didn't do it on areas of pure dirty down. It only did it on, I think, either pigment, like we had a lot of pigment reactions. Yeah, I'm not sure. Even here, like, look at this. This looks all white. You know. Anyway, one of the lessons I've learned when it comes to foliage, really good lesson to have, to know, it's that every ground is wet. So whilst I do a matte varnish to seal everything, do some gloss and some satin on the ground to moisten it up, because the ground is wet. It's a good lesson. It's a good lesson. Fucking got super glue coming out everywhere. Gone through like 5 super glue bottles in the last couple of days. Outrageous. Oh, I just got to finish her. Dano, you just got to finish her. Alright, I'll put her off. Put her off for long enough. She's there. Let's do a little bit more gluing. This looks sick, by the way. This looks super cool. Where can I put you? Do you fit in here? You don't. Okay, resin pour number 2 looks like it's holding. It looks like it's holding okay for the moment. Horsey coming along very nicely. Three skeletons ready to glow. So I just want to do a little freehand on these guys, these two. That's not going to happen tonight. Just want to freehand a little symbol on their banner. Bang and bang. And these guys are finito. This guy, I just might glue his arm back on. His arm snapped off. I was wiggling this guy around in the with the resin pour. So yeah, see, look at this. This is a very unusual reaction here. Look at that. That is extremely unusual. That concerns me. No, it's unpainted. Look at it. Look at it. Unpainted as the day he was born. Yeah, that is a concern. I don't know what's caused that. Well, I know what's caused it. It's the fucking varnish that I use, but that is not That is not a reaction to dirty down. That is just potentially a reaction. Yeah, it could have been, yeah. With varnish, it's always like temperature or didn't shake the can or, yeah, there's a million things. Just lucky that we can get away with it with a little bit of hiding the evidence. See, that's just straight frosting, that is. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I think that'd probably fix it. But the areas that it's happened in has been very, very minor. So I learnt from that super glue. I learnt from Rafa, Massive Voodoo, when I went there. Olive oil. You can use olive oil to just get a tiny little bit of olive oil and rub it on your model, and that'll actually fix that, believe it or not. I didn't believe it, but it did. Oh, look, he's got a white hand too. So interesting. I really want to test that out now. So see on this hand, Sean, we've got a bit of a reaction to varnish. The hand's white. It was not painted white. In fact, painted green. Yeah, apparently olive oil can fix that type of frosting from occurring, or after it's occurred, it can bring it back. I've never tried it. Haven't tried it recently. I did it a long time ago on models that I didn't really care about, and it worked. But anyway, this guy's right at the back. Hasn't happened to any of my main players. I've fixed all the scenery where it happened. So he just needs to be glued. Oh, I feel so close, and then every time I look at the thing, I think, oh, I could do this. Like, I'm going to do a whole nother resin pour. I'll leave this one to dry for 2 days, and then I've got to do another layer over the top of that one, because that one has not dried. Oh, sorry, because I used a porous material for the ground, which is the sculptor mold stuff, and I left it quite textured. If you don't seal it properly with like PVA glue, it's porous, and so resin seeps into it. And then if you don't seal the edge properly, resin will seep into it. And so I'm staring down the barrel of a resin pour where it started leaking out the back of the model. It seeped through all of the layers of sculptor mold and stuff, and so yeah, I put in a good solid inch thick layer of resin, and it's down to about a centimetre now, I reckon. There's also plants in there, and so I think the plants have soaked up some of the resin as well. But anyway, that'll dry, and then over the top of that, theoretically, I should just be able to do another layer. That other one hardened up, by the way. It was just the drying time. Yes, I'll do another layer over the top of that, which will fix the slight colour discrepancy that I got wrong. And it'll fill it to the level that I wanted it to be filled at, and then hopefully that won't leak because it's already, the other resin will have set and prevented and made a watertight seal. Yep. Tough going. Tough going. Yep. Yeah, it's already a nightmare. Like it's that's a good perspective. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how heavy it is, but it's. I mean, the church itself is all made out of 3D resin print. It's fucking heavy as fuck. So this is definitely heavier than Camelot. Camelot did have the rotating round table though. No, that resin that I bought is actually really, really good for this application because I bought that for Camelot ages ago, but it's so, like, it has low heat. It doesn't heat up really quickly like Envirotex does. Envirotex definitely dries quicker, but that one, it just dries, and there's no bubbles in it either, just bubbleless basically. So yeah, that's definitely the resin I would recommend for miniature use. No, I think I'm about tapped out tonight. I don't think I've got much left in me. It's been a full day. I haven't done enough painting, but I really need to get this guy on the horse. Just need to see how he looks on his horsey. One of my old bosses had a wonderful saying that has many applications in day-to-day life, but it feels very, very apt at this moment. And it is, in the journey of 100 miles, 95 is halfway. The mathematics in you may disagree with that statement, but I feel it to be very true when it comes to projects like this. We are so close to the finish line. So close, and yet I just see so many things that need to be done, and in a way it is just demoralising. But my boss, he was great. He had so many great sayings. He had another great saying that I liked. Mossy likes this one a little bit less, but I use it on her all the time. We eat the elephant one bite at a time. You sit back and look at the size of the elephant, the size of the task you have in front of you. It can feel overwhelming. But if you look down and realise that it's just one bite, and then another, over and over, eventually the elephant will be eaten. And yes, Mossy doesn't like that one, but I use it on her. Because she is a prime candidate of just thinking that it's too hard, there's too much. Fuck it, we ball. Absolutely. That is another one. Or in the words of my dad, who I'm confident was the original progenitor of this phrase, we're not here to fuck spiders. Okay, let's go. That one was not my dad. Well, Sean, in the words of Achilles, mate, that's why no one will remember your name. Sick burn. I'm pretty jazzed for another Troy remake for Odyssey. I love the Odyssey. I love Greek myth. And to be done by Christopher Nolan, oh, how could it be anything but tremendous? Early screening stuff has been very promising. Oof. It's gonna get me. It's gonna get me jazzed. Whip, 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 whip. Yeah, Mossy and I were talking about fear the other day. Because, again, I'm just going to go to one of my favourite quotes. I love quotes. David Gemmell, he wrote this wonderful book. He wrote many wonderful books. He's my favourite author, but he he had this way of describing emotions in a way that seems really simple, but just broke it down in a very accessible way. He wrote a lot of heroic fantasy, right? So he was always talking about heroism and what being a hero actually means and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, he talked about fear, and he's like, fear is good. Fear is your body saying, don't do that stupid thing, you might die. But fear is also bad when there's too much of it, when the fear is the one making the decisions. So, wise man Steve-O. Sure, he'll go down in history as one of the great thinkers. I don't know why I'm cracking myself up so much today, but I am. Alright, I had a little second wind there, but I reckon we're probably about done. Mossy's been making me get up at 5 a.m. to go for a walk. 5 a.m. That is inhumane. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. And what's worse is I'm agreeing to it. And then I get to this moment, 8:18. She's in bed, by the way. She goes to sleep at this time. And this is like prime deno. Prime opportunity for me to get in there and do some great stuff. Just gassed because there's fucking 5 a.m. walk bullshit. I wish that was it, mate. I'll tell you what it started as. We moved to the new house, and she used to go for a walk around the old house, and it was a very nice area. Walk around, feel comfortable. We didn't know the area that well here, and so she didn't want to walk around by herself. So I agreed that I would go for a walk until she decided if she was going to get a treadmill so she could still do her walks, or if she got a dog. So the plan was we get the dog so she can take the dog on her morning walks and feel a little bit safer. Good plan, yeah. The dog doesn't walk well unless I'm there. So she can't cop it. So then I'm on the walks in the morning so I can walk the dog. Oh, it's a stitch up. It's just an absolute classic stitch up. Yeah. So we got the dog for her so she could walk it in the mornings. And it's now me walking the dog in the mornings. Anyway. Trying to be positive about it. Yeah. Trying to be positive. I am positive. It feels good. It's nice to start your day with bit of exercise and a bit of fucking -2 degrees in your face. Yeah. No, look, it's about time I did something about my physical health. Big Deno, getting a little bit on the big side. Not enough of the Deno side. But anyway, I'm sure that is a very uninteresting thing for most of you all to contemplate. So there you go. Oh, can't make a wife out of a hoe. Anyway, I've done a really bad job of explaining my rusted non-metallic metal, but basically I just do this, and then I give it a little airbrush, and then I give it a little Griff Charger Grey, and then I give it a little dirty dust, dirty down. I am tired. This has been about 3 days, 4 days. So I try, not always successfully, but I try to keep the palette moist. It dries out very quickly here in Brisbane particularly, but in Australia in general. Like the palette dries out very, very quickly. And so you'll often see me just like drench underneath there, and then I'll come back the next day and it's basically dried out. So, but if I've done that properly, then the answer to your question is I will change palette paper when I run out of room, which is we're getting close to. But usually what's more likely to happen at the moment is I will have dried paint which I can't revive, and the paper starts curling up, so I have to replace it then. But yeah, it's surprising how often you have to change it. It is very humid, but it's also very hot, and I just think that the heat just dries it out. But that might be a byproduct of the fact that we basically live in air conditioning, so the air conditioning sucks all the moisture out, which also sucks out the palette humidity. Yeah, it does indeed. So what you see here is the first step in the rusted metal approach, and I'll show you what the final step looks like on my horse. and you can all look at my horse, because my horse is amazing. So we got this, which will eventually turn into this. Yep. So we use airbrush, we put some softening of the metal, and then we use Griff Charger Grey, which is this one, and that just softens it all out. It has a bluish tone. And then we use Dirty Down, and then we highlight with Ivory, and that's it. Job done. Yeah. I don't know, I think it looks, and when you zoom out to there, I think it looks pretty awesome actually. Got the green tones on that side. Yeah, so we'll finish this guy, we'll glue him to his horse, we'll then do the greenish undertones, and then he is the final element. Oh no, we've got paint go through the palette paper up there. That's awful. Might be time for a wash of the palette. Anyway, I'm calling it there. Hopefully, the next time I'm back is Sunday, and hopefully when you see me next, we will be starting a new project. Maybe we won't. Maybe we won't, but maybe we will. So that's exciting. I don't normally dry the sponge out, no, that's bad. It is due. Yes, indeed. Cragzog, you do mean see you soon, don't you? You don't mean farewell. You just mean catch you later. This isn't a cry for help, is it? I can still get that Baba Yaga back, mate. Well, you don't have to return here, but just know there are people that care about you, and life is worth living. And on that note, friends, I'll see you all next week. Big channel.